Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your round two recap, round three preview for Mayakoba Golf Classic. Joining me to break it all down, Greg DuCharme is here. And Greg, there is only one question that we need to answer. Is this the week? Is it over? is the Puerto Rico Open curse coming to an end in 2 days?
Oh, this pains me to say. It kills me. It's a knife in the heart. But no, this is not the week. This is not the week.
I'm stunned. Look, I thought you for sure were going to say yes.
Yeah, of course. So you want to jump on the bandwagon. It's the fun thing to say, right? It has a similar feel to like a Puerto Rico Open, same kind of grass. Yeah. Like the story just makes way too much sense. Of course, Finau or Hovland is going to win this tournament, right? Of course they are. But I think the late struggles of Hovland is kind of, look, if I'm Tony Finau and I'm sitting here watching, I'm leading the way, right? I'm thinking, all right, who's below me? Who are the guys I got to watch out for? Viktor Hovland's number one on the list. And you see him bogeying 10 and 11. It doesn't put him out of it, but all of a sudden he's not the guy you got to watch out for because Emiliano Grillo is the guy you got to watch out for. So I don't think this is the week. I think there's too many other guys right in the mix that are going to get it done.
So if you're wondering what we're talking about, it's the Puerto Rico Open curse. This is the curse that no winner of the Puerto Rico Open has ever won another PGA Tour event after winning the Puerto Rico Open. I believe we were at a couple weeks ago when I ran the numbers, we were at 1,131 events played by like the 13 winners of the Puerto Rico Open. Obviously, Viktor Hovland and Tony Finau have a chance. Before we hop into this leaderboard, don't forget, leave a 5-star rating and review. Say something nice about the show, ask a question. We love it, and we will address any questions that we get on the show as well. So we kind of talked about Tony Finau a little bit, trying to break this curse, Greg. But I think the big thing is he's using this new putter this week. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a very unique looking flat stick. The hosel, it not only goes into the middle of the face, but it also goes almost like a half inch behind the face. It's a very awkward position, and I guess this is trying to help him not miss left, which appears to be what his miss is when he's on the greens.
So it's funny with putter technology because it's one of those things that is, I would say, of all the golf clubs, it's the least technology based kind of club, right? So there's very little, aside from being face balanced or whatever, there's very little new tech that's introduced in putting. And if there is, it tends to be slower moving. I mean, if you saw somebody putting with a bullseye or an 8802 on the greens, you may think that's unique, but I don't know if you would think that's a disadvantage. So when somebody goes the other way, these options are they're things that can work, and everybody has a putter that's going to work best for them, and you got to find the method that works best for you. And what I love about it for Tony is he's not afraid to experiment. He's found something that seems to be working, but I will say this, Rick, and I'd love to know if you agree. This isn't the question with Finau. It's not, can he putt well enough to win? It's not, can he hit it well enough to win? It's not whether he can get in contention after 2 rounds, right? The Tony Finau conversation doesn't really get resolved on Friday night, ever. No question is answered yet, right? No. So we're going to have to talk about this on Sunday, even if he shoots 65 tomorrow. Even if he's this, we're not talking about this tomorrow night either. This conversation can only be discussed on Friday night, Sunday night.
Yes, the back 9 on Sunday is where the curse and really starts to rear its ugly head. The other guy trying to break it, you mentioned Viktor Hovland. We don't have to spend too much time on him because I do want to get to the guy who's in the lead. But he was absolutely rolling on Friday. He birdied 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. And then he gave back strokes on 10 and 11. And now with, as we record this, he's got a couple of holes to play, but he hasn't made another birdie since. So he was the hottest golfer on the course until all of that momentum stopped at 10 and 11.
Yeah. So earlier in the day, you see what Finau's doing, you're watching him, you're saying, ooh. And the first thing that comes to mind, as you know, Rick, is the curse, right? The first thing we talked about.
It comes into my mind before the tournament starts, my friend.
Right? What's going to happen with the curse of the Puerto Rico Open? So now all of a sudden, Viktor Hovland, I would say the The next best, maybe the best, but these two guys they have the best chance of ending the curse. If you're hoping for the curse to end, these two guys are your two main lifelines. We are expecting them both to break it. And now all of a sudden he goes out, and after bogey in the first hole, that's quickly forgotten because he ends up shooting 31 on the front nine, which was just spectacular. A 3 birdie streak, a 2 birdie streak, another birdie on hole number 5. It was remarkable. And then it cooled off a little bit and tapered off. But I will say this, if he was just 3 under today and it came in with 3 birdies and no bogeys, would you be concerned at all? Would you be, because it feels right now like he's going backwards. So there's concern,
right. If it was Friday morning and you said, "Hey, would you like to sign up for a what 69 or 68, whatever 60, this is?" Yeah, would you take it? He'd probably say yes. But it feels much different.
You're right, because he's backing away. So look, I'm all I'm saying is I don't think he's out of the tournament by any means. If he gets in these next 2 holes and even maybe 1 under or something like that, I think you call this another solid round, and you're right there in position. And now it all comes down to the weekend, just like it does for Finau. Same is true for everybody in the field. It's going to come down to what happens in the next 2 rounds, but you've gotten yourself in position, which is a huge thing.
Emiliano Grillo is trying to open up a gap on the rest of the field. Again, as we are talking, he's played 14 holes. He's 2 shots clear of Tom Hoge, Tony Finau. He's 11 under par, so that means he is 6 under currently in his Friday round. This should be no surprise, Greg. He's someone we talked about on Monday. We talked about him all week long. He had the best average finishing position of any golfer who had played at Mayakoba at least 3 times. He loves it here, and he is showing it once again.
Absolutely. And I get a little bit worried when I see a guy like this, like Emiliano Grillo, who's as good as he is, as talented as he is from tee to green. This makes me a little bit nervous heading into the weekend if I'm a chaser. He is not the guy that, look, he's not necessarily a player you're thinking is it's not like Justin Thomas is in the lead, right? You don't feel great about it, but this guy's a strong player, and with his tee to green talent, I'm a little bit worried chasing him that he may do what kind of what we saw the last tournament at the RSM, where Stewart is kind of running away. Or I'm sorry, it's not Stewart. Who won the RSM, Rick? I'm drawing a huge blank here.
That wasn't Brian Gay. That was not his week. It was
no. It was Robert Streb.
Oh my gosh, Robert Streb.
The disrespect, Robert. I mean, no disrespect. I
Brian Stewart him. That I confuse with Chris Stroud all the time. So yeah, you weren't getting any help from me on that.
I apologize. But if I'm telling you, if Grillo gets a couple more birdies, he gets to 13 under. Everybody's like kind of saying, well, okay, he's getting close to running away with it, which is exactly what we talked about with Robert Streb. So I don't know. If it ended right now, which is a great line, if he ends at 11 under is probably a better way to say it, and he's got a 2-shot lead over Hoge and Finau, it's wide open. But if he starts to get to 13, 14 in these last couple of holes, then I think it's real trouble for everybody else.
You mentioned Justin Thomas, and JT had a bit of a revival on Friday, and he was absolutely scorching, and he still is. He has 2 holes to play. I mean, he is currently 6 under, which means he's in a tie for 17th. He's got a couple of holes to go, but he opens his Friday with a birdie on 2, an eagle on 5, a birdie on 6. He makes the turn, gets 2 more at 11 and 12, and then he bogeys the par 5 13th, one of the easiest holes on the golf course from the middle of the fairway, which is like this is still going to be a special round, but it could have been a really, really low one for JT, who, as I just am talking about him, makes bogey on 17 and drops to 4 under par.
Yeah. It's funny. You're in that space where you're watching early in the day and you're saying, okay, he makes eagle and all. You're saying, okay, I feel pretty good about it making the cut. And then next thing you know, you're saying, wait a second. Justin Thomas gets a little bit closer, and you got to worry about him winning the tournament. Like, he's still in contention. If he's at 6 under, there is nobody that feels safe. Emiliano Grillo does not feel safe if Justin Thomas is sitting at 6 under. Sitting at 4 under, you got to make up 7 shots in 2 days. It's very doable, but it's much more unlikely. So to me, Justin Thomas has got to make another birdie coming in here and elevate that position, get back to 5, 6 under, and then I think you're really worried about him heading into the weekend if you're a leader.
Brooks Koepka is going to get a vacation in Playa del Carmen because he is not coming back to play on the weekend. 2 consecutive rounds of 71, even par, not going to make the cut. I mean, I guess technically he still has an outside chance. I don't, the line's been moving from even to 1 under all day, but this is certainly going to be on the 1 under side, I would imagine here. But Brooksy, not much to write home about through 2 rounds.
Yeah, disappointing. I think it's you can say it's not a great golf course for him, right? It doesn't seem to be a fitting golf course. It seems like the shorter hitters, guys who have a little less spin on the ball, guys who have a little lower trajectory tend to do really well here. But then you look at Tony Finau, and I guess it comes down to you just got to hit great golf shots. So I would be I'd be disappointed if I was Brooks Koepka. This is disappointing.
It certainly is. I guess we won't see him again until, oh boy, when are we going to see him next? He's not going to be in the Tournament of Champions, right?
Probably Farmers or maybe Genesis would be
Waste Management. Would he play Waste Management?
Yeah, he's a past champion there. That was his first PGA Tour victory. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him there. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him at I think he'll definitely play Genesis, Tiger's event.
Yeah, and Torrey is
likely.
I don't know where they fall on the schedule, but Torrey's usually end of January, so that's probably
they're usually back to back. Usually you go Farmers then Genesis. You're probably going to get that again.
Yeah, I would think so. Okay, let's look ahead to the weekend. So you and Mark are going to break this down tomorrow evening, but looking at some of the live odds for these guys, Emiliano Grillo, 4-1 currently on William Hill, thanks to our friends over there. Tony Finau, 5-1. Victor Hovland, 9-1. If you still like JT, he's at 12. Joaquin Neiman is someone who's been hanging around this 12 or 14-1 number for the last day or so. Any of these guys sparking interest for you, Greg?
I want to see. I think Joaquin Neiman is a guy that's sparking interest for me. He had a really nice round going as well. And the thing that I like about Joaquin Neiman is he's inspired this week. He's playing for, and he was at the RSM as well, but he's playing for his little cousin who's going through a really difficult time. A baby, needs some really expensive medical help. So I think that little extra inspiration can spur somebody close to the lead. He's at 6 under right now. He's got 1 hole to go on his Friday round. But I think Joaquin Neiman's a guy I'm watching out for tomorrow.
He was the one that I mentioned last night. He has shown us, he's done this a couple of times in the restart as well, where he can get super unconscious and have a really low round, which is when you're trying to find someone who might be 4, 5, 6 shots back heading into the weekend. You're going to need a round like that. Right. How about this? Shout out Andy Ogletree, who is currently just 4 off the pace. He's got a couple of holes to play. He's dealing on a Friday right now. I see him at 25-1. Could you imagine winning your first professional start, Greg? Oh my God. We would be at fever pitch on Sunday evening.
I mean, I'm sure there are players who have won their first professional start. I'm just not sure if anybody's done it on the PGA Tour. I'd love to know. I mean, that's a Justin Ray special.
That's a J Ray stat,
right? All day. But yeah, it's great for him. I mean, what experience, no matter what happens coming in here, you're proving to yourself you can play. So I mean, look, 25-1, great odds. So I don't hate it. Camilo Villegas, another guy I'm somewhat interested in. The play from the RSM is rolling over. So I wouldn't look past him.
Yeah, the other 25-1 guy that I still think is incredibly interesting is Carlos Ortiz. Again, you kind of need someone who can go out there and just find something really, really low. There's so many storylines. You've got the Puerto Rico curse. You've got Andy Ogletree trying to win his first professional start. You have Carlos Ortiz trying to go back-to-back, which would be the first time since I think Brendan Todd did it last year. I love this leaderboard. It's stacking up to be a good one.
It is. It's really cool. It's very exciting. And the 6 unders and even the 5 unders, it looks right now like they're way back and way out of it because you're looking at Grillo at 11 under. But if he bogeys coming in, or if he just has a bad round tomorrow, you all of a sudden those guys are only 3 or 4 shots back instead of that 6 or 7 or however many it ends up being. So with only one guy stretching the lead, it's not as scary. You almost look at the pack. Okay, 9 under's the real lead, unless if Grillo comes back to the field, then he's back in the mix. And if he runs away with it, then there's no catching him anyway. So you can almost look at it like you're 3 or 4 back if you're 6 or 7 under, 6 or 5 under, I suppose.
There you have it. Moving day on Saturday. Greg and Mark will be back to break it all down, and then the whole crew on Sunday evening. Greg DuCharme, thank you very much for joining me. You can find Greg at The Real GFD on Twitter. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut, and we'll catch you next time.